We are obsessed with time. Every single day of our lives is measured by it. We count the hours until we finish work. We celebrate birthdays, marking another year. We organize human civilization itself around calendars and clocks. Time is the foundation of everything we know about history. It tells us when empires rose and fell. It tells us which events came first and which came after. It's the invisible framework holding our entire understanding of the past together. But what if that foundation is built on a lie? What if I told you that the calendar hanging on your wall right now is wrong? That the year printed at the top of your phone screen is incorrect? What if tonight, when you go to sleep thinking it's the year 2026, there is a gap in human history, a void, a black hole in time spanning nearly 300 years? During this period, according to our history books, civilization collapsed, progress stopped, the great Roman Empire crumbled, Europe descended into what we call the Dark Ages. But what if none of that actually happened? What if those 300 years were simply invented, created out of thin air by powerful men who needed to rewrite history for their own purposes? This is called the phantom-time hypothesis, and it claims that the early Middle Ages, specifically the years from 614 AD to 911 AD, never existed at all. According to this theory, those centuries were fabricated, written into existence by forgers and liars, added to our timeline to serve the ambitions of emperors and popes. And the evidence? It's more disturbing than you might think. We are obsessed with time. Every single part of our lives is controlled by it. We wake up because of time. We go to work because of time. We celebrate birthdays, counting how many years we've lived. Even human history depends on time. Time tells us when empires rose and when they fell. It tells us what happened first and what came after. It is the invisible structure that holds our entire understanding of the past together. But what if that structure is broken? What if the timeline we trust is wrong? Look at your phone right now. It says the year is 2026. But what if that's not true? What if, right now, you're actually living in the year 1729? Think about that for a second. That would mean everything we think we know about history is off by almost 300 years. That's not a small mistake. That's entire centuries missing. There is a theory that says those missing centuries are not lost. They were never real. A gap in history, a void, a black hole in time nearly 300 years long. According to our history books, this period was called the Dark Ages, a time when civilization collapsed, when progress stopped, when Europe fell into chaos after the Roman Empire disappeared. But what if that story was made up? What if those 300 years were simply added later, written into history by powerful people who needed to change the timeline for their own reasons? This idea is called the phantom-time hypothesis, and it claims something shocking, that the years between 614 AD and 911 AD never happened, not forgotten, not lost, never existed. And the evidence behind this idea is more disturbing than you think. Let me show you something strange. Imagine you are an archaeologist. You go to an ancient site and you start digging into the ground. What you'll find is layers. Each layer represents a different time in history, like pages in a book. made of dirt and stone. If you dig deep enough, you'll find evidence of the Roman Empire. Coins, pottery, massive stone buildings, clear proof that a powerful civilization once existed. If you look at later layers, you'll find things from the Middle Ages: armor, tools, signs of growing societies. But here's the strange part. Try to find evidence from the so-called Dark Ages, those 300 years between 614 and 911. Something is missing. The evidence becomes extremely thin, almost silent. It's like opening a history book and finding blank pages. Historians say this is because civilization collapsed. They say people forgot how to build, that knowledge was lost, that society became simple and primitive. But here's the problem. That explanation doesn't fully make sense. Look at Roman civilization. They built advanced roads, strong buildings, complex systems. That knowledge took hundreds of years to develop. So how could all of that disappear almost overnight and then suddenly return again later? Here's another example. Byzantine pottery. These are everyday objects like plates and bowls. Normally, over time, these things change. They improve, designs evolve. But during these supposed 300 years, nothing changes. Pottery from the year 600 looks almost identical to pottery from the year 900. 3 centuries and no progress? That's not normal. And then there are the Roman roads. The Romans built one of the greatest road systems in history, thousands of miles, connecting cities across Europe. These roads needed constant maintenance. If left alone, they would crack, break, and disappear. But according to history, they were abandoned for 300 years and then suddenly reused again. Here's the strange part. They don't show the damage you would expect. No extreme decay, no deep layers of neglect. It's almost like no time passed at all. Like someone pressed pause on history for 300 years. But the strongest evidence is not found in the ground. It's found in the sky. Let me explain. For thousands of years, humans have used the sun and stars to measure time. That's how calendars were created. But early calendars were not perfect. Over time, they slowly drifted out of sync with the real solar year. By the 1500s, this drift became a serious problem. Seasons were happening at the wrong times, religious dates were no longer accurate, so something had to be done. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII introduced a new calendar, the Gregorian calendar, the one we still use today. To fix the error, he had to remove some days, just delete them completely. Now here's where it gets interesting. Based on the calculations, he should have removed 13 days, but he didn't. He removed only 10 days. Why? A historian named Herbert Illig asked the same question, and his answer was shocking. He believed that the calendar wasn't as old as people thought, that extra years had been added artificially. Phantom years, fake time. If the Pope had removed the full 13 days, it would have exposed the truth. It would have revealed that 3 centuries didn't exist. So instead, he removed only 10 days, protecting the illusion. So if time was manipulated, who did it. Who had the power to change history itself? According to the theory, 3 men, powerful, influential, untouchable. The first, Otto III, a ruler of vast lands across Europe. The second, Pope Sylvester II, the most powerful religious leader of his time. The third, Constantine VII, ruler of the Eastern Roman Empire. Together, they had the power to control both politics and religion. And according to the theory, they made a decision to rewrite time itself. Why? Because of a date, the year 1000 AD. At that time, people believed this year had deep religious meaning, a sacred moment, a turning point in history. Whoever ruled during that time would gain divine legitimacy, power backed by God. But there was a problem. They were not living in the year 1000. They were centuries behind. So they did something unthinkable. They changed the timeline, added 300 years. But they couldn't just add empty years. They needed history, stories, legends. So they created one. A king so powerful, no one would question him. A ruler so legendary, he would fill the gap perfectly. His name was Charlemagne, a conqueror, a unifier, a hero of Europe. But according to this theory, he never existed. He was written into history, a character, a creation, a solution to a problem that should never have existed. And if that's true, then the greatest king in history was never real at all. So far, everything we've seen points to one place: Europe. A continent that may have lost 300 years. But here's the problem. The world does not revolve around Europe. While Europe was supposedly collapsing into darkness, the rest of the world was alive, thriving, growing. In the East, a different story was being written. The Islamic Golden Age, a time of knowledge, discovery, and precision. In cities like Baghdad, scholars gathered inside great centers of learning. The most famous of them all, the House of Wisdom, a place where books were not just read, but translated, studied, and expanded. While Europe was supposedly forgetting how to build, engineers in the Islamic world were designing complex structures. While Europe was dark, the East became a lighthouse of knowledge. Mathematics, medicine, astronomy, all advancing rapidly. Now think about this carefully. If 300 years were truly added to European history, then the timeline of the Islamic world should not match. There should be a gap, a mismatch. But there isn't. Islamic scholars were extremely precise record keepers. They tracked the movement of stars. They recorded events. They documented time with incredible accuracy. So how do you fake that? How do you align a false European timeline with a completely separate civilization? The theory suggests something even more disturbing. That it wasn't just Europe that was altered, but that records from other civilizations may have been adjusted, translated, or rewritten. Every trade agreement, every letter between East and West, every shared record could be part of a much larger manipulation. Not just a lie, but a coordinated rewrite of history itself. But there is one thing that is almost impossible to fake: the sky. Empires can lie, books can be rewritten, records can be destroyed. But the stars? They don't care about human stories. They move with perfect precision, following laws that cannot be changed. In the year 760 AD, astronomers in ancient China during the Tang Dynasty recorded something very specific: a comet crossing the sky. That comet was later identified as Halley's Comet, and today modern astronomers can calculate exactly where that comet should have been hundreds, even thousands of years ago. When they ran the numbers, they found something remarkable. The comet appeared exactly where the Chinese records said it did, in the year 760. That creates a serious problem, because if those years never existed, then the stars shouldn't match. But they do. For many historians, this is the final answer, the moment the theory collapses, the death blow to the phantom time hypothesis. But not everyone agrees. Alternative researchers argue something even more unsettling. They say, what if we are reading those records wrong? What if those ancient texts were adjusted later to match the European timeline? Some point to scholars from later centuries who traveled between cultures, translating and interpreting ancient knowledge. What if those translations weren't completely accurate? What if they were aligned deliberately to create a single, consistent version of history? Not just a European lie, but a global synchronization, a complete reset of human memory. So what is the truth? Did 300 years really disappear? Or is this just a theory built on strange coincidences? Here's what matters. This idea forces us to question something deeper. What is history really? Is it a perfect record of the past? Or is it a story told by those who had the power to write it? Think about it. Every book you've read, every date you've memorized, every fact you believe, it all comes from somewhere, from people, from institutions, from systems that decide what is remembered and what is forgotten. History is not just about truth. It is about control. Control over knowledge, control over memory, control over how we understand the world. And if people in the past had the power to reshape history using ink and parchment, then imagine what is possible today. In a world of digital systems, algorithms, and artificial intelligence, we are not just losing history. We may be losing the ability to tell what is real at all. So what year is it, really? 2026? Or 1729? Maybe the answer doesn't matter as much as the question itself. Because once you begin to question time, you begin to question everything. Who decides what is written? Who decides what is remembered? And who benefits from what is forgotten? History may not be what happened. It may be what we were allowed to believe happened. The truth is out there, hidden in silence, buried in time, unheard until now.